The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. I'm your host Sean Garmer, and here with me, as always, is Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And right now I don't remember which number show this is at the moment, so...
Somewhere in the 160 range.
That's what I feel like it is, but then...
I think it's like past like 162
it's
or
171.
But...
So this is officially number 171. And of course, we are the official video games podcast at W2Net.com, and we are in partnership with the Last Word on Life and FullMania.com as well. So we'd like to thank them as always for hosting us. And well, so on tap for this show, because it's December, there's one big game left which comes out on Friday. I already have it ready to download whenever they want to give out the code, whenever GameStop wants to give out the code, I should say. And then there'll be some indies here and there, but it'll be all about talking about Game of the Year and whatnot. So why not? And usually, actually, what gets everything started with Game of the Year is the Game Awards, which take place, I think, December 7th. So we're going to give our predictions, sort of a who we want to win and also who we think will win on those. And, of course, we'll also talk about the news that's been going on. Lots of stuff with loot boxes still. God, I feel like we just can't stop talking about loot boxes. Give me a break, people.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Ironically. More studios, more things shutting down. Super Mario is going to have a cereal, and yeah, there's a few other things in there too. But we'll start how we always start here with talking about games that we're playing, things that we have seen. First of all, since it came out today, I got a message early this morning. Had to watch it before I went to work. What did you think of the Infinity War trailer?
It was fine. It didn't show much, but it wasn't really designed to. I mean, it's just supposed to get people excited for it, and it did.
The ending, of course, was the nice reveal of Guardians of the Galaxy meeting at least Thor. We don't know if anybody else happens to be in the room with Thor at the time, but
well, you envision Thor going let's go to Earth or something, or let's stop Thanos.
Yeah, they do show Thanos without his gear on, which is interesting.
I thought he looked kind of bad
about that. Yeah, he looked kind of weird. I'm assuming that he will eventually put all the stones in the gauntlet, because they show him with two.
Yeah.
And he puts them in there, and they did confirm Captain Marvel will be, Captain Marvel. Is it Miss Marvel? I don't know.
No, Captain Marvel. It's a different. Miss Marvel's a different character.
So Captain Marvel will be in the movie. Scarlett Johansson confirmed that. They think they sort of tease her in there, but they don't really say much about it. And you see other characters in there, so the whole point is to make a big deal about them all kind of coming together and whatever.
Also, Marvel movies have been known to lie about trailers. Like Thor did that. Like Thor 3 did that. So I'd take anything in this trailer kind of with a grain of salt.
Yeah, let's see if half of what we saw in the trailer actually winds up in the movie.
Yeah.
Still cool 2 minutes and 25 seconds of footage to see to get you hyped.
More exciting than Justice League.
A lot of things. I mean, more exciting than Justice League at this point. So, what have you been playing this week?
Pretty much the same stuff. Hand of Fate 2. I finally finished Ori and the Blind Forest.
So how do you feel reaching the ending of, a hard game?
I mean, it's a very pretty game. I just didn't really like how it played like that well. Like
the platforming, not
that, and the combat I thought was kind of lacking. Like I stumbled upon, I beat the game without even realizing it. I was like, I just escaped from this like mountain, and then it's like game over, and I was like, I thought there'd be like a boss fight or something, something a little more like climactic, not just you escape the mountain at the end. I'm like, okay. Also, like there were like large swaths of that game I didn't even like look at or like go through, so I was missing like a few abilities as I finished it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Do you think with how that game tells the story and all that stuff that there would be this kind of big climactic? You sure there's not like several endings or anything?
Not that I saw. The whole thing, like the big enemy in the game, is like this like evil looking bird thing that like is kind of constantly chasing you or like hindering your progress. And then like the end of the game is you light this like fire in the mountain, and it like restores the forest somehow. And like the bird goes to like be with her egg to like protect it, and it's like sacrifices itself to save the egg. It's like, all right. Like it reminded me like a Secret of Nim, or like like an early Disney movie, something like that. Like, but it doesn't make for a fun playing game.
Yeah. Well, I never finished it, but
yeah, I mean it's also kind of just a brutal, like a hard game, just in general. Like the platforming can get really annoying. But I'm happy to finish it finally. Like, I stopped and started with that game like a few different times. So now that I can finally be done with it.
Well, one of the better games in the year that it came out. So,
yeah. And aside from that, I've been playing GTA 5 on PC, and I reinstalled Dragon Quest Heroes on PC.
How's that?
Fine, except it does not like Windows 10 that much, or like Windows 10 and my video card. Like I have to disable movies for the game to even run.
Man, that seems like annoying. Just get a game to run, you got to disable other stuff. Well, I have to do that too.
Well, like when I started the game, it was like I set the game for like ultra high graphics, and it was like your video card, like you're on Windows 10, it might have issues with like particle effects, and I was like, yeah, whatever. And it like just crashed the desktop constantly, and I was like, all right, let's start troubleshooting. And I like fiddled with some options, and nothing worked. And then I finally just hit like disable movies, and that seemed to work. And I was like, all right, this is dumb, but I guess we'll go for it.
Hey, why not? Didn't you get the second one?
No, I only got the first one. Adam took the second one for PS4.
Oh, okay.
But now that Ori's out of the way, I'll be getting Song of the Deep tomorrow, hopefully. So that'll be another Metroidvania to start.
The one and only GameStop game so far.
Yep, for a cool 48 cents.
Hey, you can't beat 48 cents other than free.
Yeah.
So, why not? Anything feel any different on anything on Hand of Fate 2 or?
The PC version runs slightly better, but it's still not like the smoothest game. aside from that, it's still fine. Like I don't think I'm going to finish it all the way through because just 20 different levels, and that'll take a while. But yeah, it's still a good game. Like it's a big improvement over the first one. So if you like the first one, give this a shot.
Well, good to know that at least runs a little better, not as choppy as the PS4.
Like if I was to give points, I'd probably give the PS4 version like a 7 out of 10. Probably the PC version like an 8.
Hey, see, that's an upgrade right there.
Yeah. Like it's not like the smoothest thing in the world, but it does run a little better, you know.
Yeah, better than having to deal with all the problems, and they haven't said anything about a patch or anything like that.
Oh no. Yeah, forget that. That's about it for me. How about you? You're playing some new stuff.
Yes, I am still banging away at Pokemon. I got Wolfenstein 2 as during the Black Friday deal. I am in like the first, I think, like the third time you go through a cutscene in the first level. Because I tried playing on the medium difficulty, and I kept dying, and I got tired of it. In this one spot, it's like you go in this underground part, and it's dark. Then you go out, and there's like a ton of freaking dudes, and the checkpoints are not very forgiving. Sometimes you have to go some long treks without a checkpoint. And yeah, I would get through the hard part with all the people in the room, and then I'd get to the next part and I'd die. And I was like, okay, I'm tired of dying in the same spot. And so I just lowered it to the second difficulty, and I got through that finally. And I haven't played it again after that, mainly because like the freaking first like 30 minutes of that game is incredible in the scenes that you see. Like, you definitely get ready to get jarred if you haven't played that. So that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil anything, but it definitely is going to get you thinking immediately. So lives up to its name on that part. And that's also because I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn. Finally, it was $20. It's part of Black Friday sale, so you really can't pass it up. Now they have the Frozen Wilds on a $15 sale, so I'm thinking about whether I want to get that or not. And I've really been enjoying it. I'm like level 5. I'm really early in the game. I'm like on the quest that you do so that you can finally stop being shunned by the tribe that you're in. But yeah, I obviously haven't played enough to get tired of the combat. I can probably see why you would eventually, but I enjoy it. I like the fact that you can just run around as her. I think so far her as a character is interesting. Yeah, I mean, you play like having a player that's an outcast is not, or a character that's an outcast is not anything new, right? But the way that it's presented, I think, is different than a lot of games, and just the setting, I think, is the coolest part for me. It's still kind of cool to see the robot dinosaur things coming out, and you having to either battle. I haven't found it that hard to battle with them, but the stealth stuff also makes it interesting.
Yeah, once you hit like level 40, combat can get to be a real grind.
Oh, okay.
And also, like you're really early on, but like you'll soon run into enemies that you can't like one hit kill in stealth. So have fun with those.
Oh, that's I've been using that to my advantage too, of stealth killing things.
Like enemies in the starting valley are really dumb and like easy because it's to start an area. But like once you get out of there, like actually like you basically graduate from the tribe and they're like, go out and explore the world. Then like enemies are rough and hard. And you have like your big your first quest is to go like halfway across the map to like the big city. There are a lot of robots along the way, so good luck.
Ooh, that sounds fun and a lot to go through in one thing. Great.
Yeah.
But still, I've been enjoying the game. I haven't gotten far to be able to say, game of the year personally, but I can see why it's up there in that echelon and everything. And played one mission of Halo Wars 2. Made me quickly remember. I'm glad it was $20. It made me quickly remember things I didn't like about the first game, which one of them is if you get off the beaten path of where the game doesn't do a great job of reminding you what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So, if you somehow it doesn't tell me, okay, make sure that I remember the first game at least sort of tried to have the corporal or the guy tell you, okay, this is what you're doing, or even in the cutscene, it would tell you, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. This one kind of just tells you a thing at the beginning before you even start, and then that's it. Like, it doesn't really give you much besides that. So I'm sitting here building the base, and I keep building the thing, and all of a sudden, okay, well, the boss comes out, and I can kind of figure out that apparently I have to lower his shield, but there doesn't really let me know that his shield is now lowered, so I keep fighting him, and he keeps killing me because, yeah. So I eventually had to just go look it up on YouTube, and was like, oh, I just missed this thing that I didn't destroy, and that's what happened. But yeah, it was kind of annoying that I'm having to watch a video to figure out what I'm supposed to do. But
Yeah,
aside
I've been
from
in
that,
that
it's
situation.
Halo. It's Halo strategy game. It works just fine. Well worth the $20. I don't know about paying 60 when it first came out, but $20,
I thought it was
fine with me.
I thought it was
Or
40 when it
50.
launched.
Was it 40? I think it
I
was at
think so.
50.
Well, it wasn't full price. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think it might have been 50, and it was 60 if you got the season pass, the deluxe whatever edition or thing, and then they had
Yeah.
a DLC thing for it. But yeah,
It's
go ahead.
well, it's funny. You spend all your money on like buying games from Black Friday, and I spent all mine on buying a printer and like used DVDs and Blu-rays.
Hey, why not? Gives you more things to. So anything that you're particularly wanting to watch out of that haul that you.
I picked up Person of Interest. A friend of mine got me an Amazon gift card for Christmas, so I bought that. Like that CBS show. I
Yeah,
mean, I watched it before. It's because it's on Netflix, but it's still a good show. So
I don't think I actually ever finished watching season 5. I need to go do
yeah.
that.
And I picked up Justice League on Blu-ray, like the cartoon show from like 15 years ago.
Do you like it?
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen it before, but they were really on sale, so they were like $15 each for like season 1 and season 2, and that was way cheaper than Amazon. So I'm like, yep, I'll grab these.
That's not bad.
But like a lot of the DVD, I went to this used DVD store, and like most of the DVDs I bought were $2.50. Like Power Rangers was $2.50, or like American Psycho was $2.50 because they were $5 Blu-rays half off. So I bought like 20 DVDs.
Nice. So
Yeah.
at least you'll have stuff to watch for a while.
Oh yeah.
Why did you want the printer? Just
I had bought a crappy HP inkjet like a few years ago, and it printed 10 pages and ran out of ink, like all inkjets do. And I was like, "Fuck you!" So I bought a Brother laser printer, like just the cheapest one, but it will still last me years because I only ever print like black ink, so it's fine.
Yeah, plus it's not inkjet, so it won't run out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, like I hate inkjets.
Yeah, I remember I think one of my college had some of those, and I was just like, really? Guys, come on.
Yeah,
This is taking forever to print something, and then they'd have to constantly switch out the ink in it, and it's like with as much as there's people in this library printing out stuff, you'd think that you would have better equipment, but
yeah, a
whatever.
printer that can last like a week before changing ink.
I also watched Coco, the Disney Pixar movie. It's really good. It's one of the better ones. This is why Disney and Pixar need to stop with the. Now, I think it's been a long time with The Incredibles that I think that's totally worth it to have the second one. But some of these
I
other,
mean,
like, there was no reason for a Cars 3, like, or
it was like
2 for that matter.
it was like a decade between Incredible 1 and 2, so
Right.
that gets a pass. But some of like they're making Toy Story 4, and it's like Toy Story 3 ended on like a really good note. Like, please don't go back to it.
Yeah, and they made it like a romantic comedy. It's like, okay, that's really what I wanted out of watching Toy Story 4. But hey, you do what you feel like you need to do.
Yeah,
You know, I just thought it was a good story. It's a family story. I think you can kind of see it coming, obviously, but I still think it's well told, and it helps that I also have the ancestral history with or the culture history with the subject matter, the Dia de los Muertos and all that stuff. So that probably helped a bit, but yeah, still think it's well worth your time to go see. And the little one liked it, so that's the most important part at the end.
sure.
Especially after they charge you freaking $17 to go see a movie, and then $12 for icy and a popcorn. It better be good. Then people wonder why they don't go. The movie pass is all the rage. You can save some money.
Yeah.
Speaking of saving money, it's the first of the month. Well, close to the first of the month, so you know what that means. Time for PS Plus and Games for Gold to be announced, or in the case of Games for Gold, by the time you're hearing this, it might already be there for you to download. You have, for Games for Gold, you have Warhammer End of Times Vermintide. That's for the entire month. Do you know anything about
No,
this?
I never played Vermintide. I think it's like a Left 4 Dead clone, kind of.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Anyway, they did update it for 4K and detailed resolutions. So if you need more 4K gaming for your Xbox One X, here's a game that might offer that for you. The Back to the Future 30th Anniversary Edition, which has redone voice acting and I guess a better version of the
Yeah,
first one.
the guy who played Biff, Tom Wilson, is doing Biff because he wasn't in the first game, or the first version.
Okay, I mean,
Like
hey,
back, like playing Back to the Future now is really interesting because like it plays like an older Telltale game. Like it was before Walking Dead, so it doesn't play like one of
right, when
those
it
at
was an
all.
adventure game and it wasn't like a just walk through the narrative
Yeah,
game.
like you actually have to like do shit in the game.
Yeah, I've never played. I've always said I was gonna play it and then I don't. So
It ha-
is it
it
good or?
it has an interesting story, but parts of it kind of have problems. Like I think I want to say it's like episode 4 is like really like badly plotted, and like the game just kind of goes in circles, but not in a good way.
Well, that's disappointing a little bit.
But I mean, it's still like I'm happy to have played it because I like Back to the Future. So
Child of Eden, I remember playing. I don't remember it too much, but I remember liking it.
yeah, Res 2.
Yeah, basically. And Marlo Briggs of the Mask of Death, which is one of those that like I think I was excited for when it first came out, and then I never played it, so I guess that's cool to.
I think it's like a low budget platformer, like slash like kind of beat like Streets of Rage type game.
Yeah, it's like a hack and slash game, so it's something I could like have a podcast on and just slash away at the worst.
Yeah,
Uh, then you also have for PS Plus, lots of games here for PS Plus. Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, which I feel like this has been offered on both PS Plus and I know for Xbox Gold because I have it on Xbox One before. So,
yeah.
hey, Darksiders 2 is a really good game. So if you still have never picked it up, go get it for free. Kung Fu Panda Showdown of the Legendary Legends. Why Legend twice?
This sounds
Okay.
like a mascot fighting game.
Well, it's Kung Fu Panda, so.
That automatically means I'm not
Yeah,
interested. Thanks.
should tell you. X-Blade Lost Memories is a visual novel. So, for PS3, so if you're into the visual novels, you can take a look at that. And Siberia Collection, which is Siberia 1 and 2. Ironically, Siberia 2 comes out on the Switch on the same
Yeah,
day. So, I guess that you can either pick it up for free on your PS3 or you can pay, I think it's $20 on the Switch
yeah.
for it. You choose which one works out for you, plus you get the first one included. Forma 8, which is a really good game. We actually have a review on the site for that. And it's a platformer where you move the ball, kind of like the Samus Morph ball, but you're just controlling the ball the whole time and trying to complete puzzles. Pretty good. And tells kind of a good story without a lot of, with without really words or anything, just descriptive. And Wanted Core as well. That's only for Vita. So yeah, that's a pretty good haul there for PS Plus to end of the year.
I guess. I think everyone has who has ever wanted Darksiders already has it. But
Yeah, I mean, if you don't by now, this is the month to do it. It's, but I agree with you. Who doesn't have it by now? They've released it I don't know how many times. They put it on a huge sale when they first announced Darksiders 3.
it was part of a
So,
humble bundle for
yeah, that
PS4.
too. So, yeah. You probably should have had it by now, but why not? Why not? Do it one more time. Xbox Game Pass. Of course, last month was the first month that they had games uh, released from it. And like actually works like Netflix where stuff leaves and stuff comes in. They have not revealed at all which games are leaving, but the ones that are coming in December 1st, Gears of War 4, which will probably be one of the biggest games that have been on the service since it's existed. Darksiders, the first game, War Mastered Edition, Mega Man 10, This War of Mine, The Little Ones, Casey Powell, Lacrosse 16. I've always wanted to play that game. And Sherlock Holmes, The Devil's Daughter. So the last two not so good, but the first four pretty good.
Yeah, like if I had that thing, I'd probably give Sherlock Holmes a try. Like the past few games aren't actually that bad.
For me, that's not too bad because I've never actually. I love Gears of War, and I never got around to buying Gears of War 4. So it would be a good way to play it and figure out if I like it enough to. I think this was also on that sale where it was like $15 or $20 as well during the Black Friday, but of course that came out last year, so
Yeah.
But at this point, people are not looking for those kind of for games that came out last year. But why not? So this was weird because normally when you have a rumor like this, the bigger sites start picking it up. And when we were originally going to do the show, which was Sunday night, this kind of before we were going to start, this was the last piece of news that was sitting around, and it wasn't on the sites that I usually go to find news. It was just on a couple of places, mainly because it's from a forum that I've never heard of, called the Reset Era. Discuss, and this also may be because it's under embargo, because I wouldn't be surprised at all if this is announced in about a week at the PlayStation Experience thing. And so the bigger sites may have been told to please don't release this rumor. We want to reveal it at, PSX. But anyway, it's Devil May Cry 5, which would be set to release between April 2018 and March 2019, so basically a year from each other. And that it probably would come out on PC, but it's supposed to be a Sony PS4 exclusive because Sony might have paid for some of the funding of the game, so no Xbox One or Xbox One X, looks like. And the big thing is that it's going to take place right after the fourth game.
Yeah, because that was such a beloved game in the series.
Well, it like kept getting put onto the next generation or whatever, and all that. Enough people had to have liked it, right?
I would say this is, if like this rumor is true, is very disappointing. Because I thought like the DMC reboot was like great, like the first good Devil May Cry game.
Was it really meant to be a reboot or just to have a prequel?
No, it was like a reboot. Like they called it that, and that's what it was.
I thought that sold well.
Not that well. Like, I mean, they kept putting it on other systems, so that probably helped, like along with DMC4. But like I think Capcom was disappointed with it.
What do you know? Japanese companies disappointed with sales.
Well, they're not crazy like Square though. And also, like the interesting thing, like the thing I'm curious about is like, at what point does Sony just buy Capcom? Because they're already like funding half their games, like Street Fighter 5 and this. So
exactly.
It's like, why not just say screw it and just Sony could use that, like the first party help for sure. So
yeah, Never Deep Down was supposed to be an exclusive, wherever that is.
If they were to like lock it down and say we own Capcom now, like if you want to play continue to support the multi-platform games they have, but it's like if you want to play the new Monster Hunter or the new Street Fighter, play it on our system, and that's it.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if they would though, because I think Capcom likes the idea of being able to obviously get more money, right, from having these games on the other systems. They have a working relationship that goes pretty well with Nintendo, that they make, all their games on the Switch, and
I'm sure they love it, but like I don't think their business strategy is like going that well. I mean,
well, isn't Monster Hunter Worlds coming out for both?
Yeah, next year.
systems?
Like I think like early next year. Like I want to say like January, February, 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, not next week, but in a week and a half from now, you can play the beta for the game for 3 days.
But I just mean like how bad the other games have like hit the past 2 years, like Marvel vs. Capcom and Street Fighter. It's like those aren't successful games.
I wonder how much the Marvel thing is also because of the characters that are missing too.
I mean, that didn't help, but like that game just like that game looked and felt cheap. Like in a way that like Injustice 2 did not. And it's like you guys had the time. You just don't have the money to make this good.
Maybe not.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then okay,
Or
like
it
the
just
time.
felt mailed in, like you said.
Well, I didn't feel like there was any great passion for that game. Like they made it. I think like Marvel made it because they wanted to, get a game out there with some Marvel characters in it, and Capcom made it because Disney and Marvel probably paid them to make it. Like I don't think anyone is super excited to make that game, and it kind of showed.
Yeah, it just felt like it was here. It was out there for a couple, I felt like people talked about it for like a couple weeks and then nobody talked about it again.
Yeah, it disappeared completely. I mean, now like I saw the trailer for the new DLC characters, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it
None
was
of
met
none
with a
none
whatever.
none of them are Wolverine, so keep on moving.
It's not like when Injustice says we're gonna release the Turtles. Oh,
well,
hey, I'm gonna play this again.
Injustice has the benefit of actually having like interesting characters.
It's
Like this
weird to
had
say.
the trailer I saw was like Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Venom, and it's like okay. It's like way to go outside the Marvel, the MCU for creative characters.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing though. This whole game was built around that. That's what hurt
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So anyway, back to Devil May Cry 5 for a second here. It's supposed to be more like Bayonetta and more open, but not like total open world. And the action pieces are not going to have QTEs, so maybe that's better. I like Bayonetta.
Yeah, it's better than most Devil May Cry games.
So why didn't you like the fourth one?
Bad story, repetitive gameplay, nonsensical characters. Like, who the fuck wants to play as Nero?
Apparently, you might play as Nero again in this game.
Yeah, it's everyone's favorite.
So play as Dante, Nero, and Virgil. It looks like. And you don't sound too excited.
Nope. If it was a sequel to DMC 2 and Ninja Theory was making it, then I'd be all for it. But this, nah. Bring back Onimusha instead.
Well, just to bring things into a more lighthearted nature, Nintendo continues to just do things in a weird way. They have the theme park now being built. They have the movie with Super Mario. Now they're having a Super Mario cereal with Kellogg's making it. It's a marshmallow and oat cereal, so pretty much like Lucky Charms, if you want to think of it that way. Um, and there's also like amiibo cards that are in there. I don't know what that would do, how you would put that with the Switch, but I mean, why not? Right? I may pick one up just to see. I don't know that
Well,
I would want to.
I think everyone who has a Switch is going to pick one up.
You can have power up marshmallows. I mean,
Besides, it's
what?
just like the amiibo cards from like Animal Crossing from like the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's novel, but it's not like that new.
No, it's not. I just think it's kind of interesting that they're doing that. Like, just okay, we're gonna make a Super Mario cereal.
Yeah.
Not that they
I
haven't
mean,
done something like that before, but
yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Like they've had numerous licensed cereal deals before.
it's all about them like opening that box back up of saying, okay, we'll license our characters now. We'll just make sure you take care of them. Speaking of licensing characters, except these are going away. Marvel Heroes was supposed to be shut down at the end of December. Lo and behold, randomly, on Black Friday, they just decided, hey, I'm sorry, we're having to just we're closing down the entire studio. We have to do it right now because apparently they either ran out of money or Disney pulled the plug.
It sounds like the creditor just like shut them down, or like the bank didn't give them enough, wouldn't give them enough money to like keep going.
That's really shitty.
I mean, yeah, but they're not going to recoup their money from having the game run.
That's true. They're just gonna keep, just wasting money there. And then the worst part is that the staff just gets let go with nothing.
Like no paid leave or no sick time. They don't get their paid time off. They're likely not going to get it. Yeah. I mean, I like that game, but like I said, it just was run into the ground this year. And I saw an interview with the guy we talked about from IGN who went there. Was his name Anthony?
Anthony Gallegos.
Yeah, I saw him on the Kind of Funny Games thing with Greg Miller talking about it. And yeah, he was basically like morale that was terrible for like the last few months, and like things were finished on the PC side, but we couldn't like have them run because we couldn't get the authorization to run in, and yeah.
Well, what sucks the worst, like we talked about last week, is that the game's only been out for like 4 months or so on console.
I think it was like 6. I know on Xbox you can get I think they just gave everyone like an automatic refund. On PS4, it's like you have to complain more, but you'll eventually get a refund if you spent money on it.
Sony should just, give the refund and not make you have to jump through so many hoops, but it is what it is. Again, when you're the leading company, I guess you can do that kind of thing. Another thing too is they lost the Marvel license like almost a month ago.
Yeah, they lost it in like early, like mid October, and they were like, that guy basically said like we were furloughed and we couldn't talk to the community about like the problems, and we kind of just had to keep it under our hat.
Makes sense why a lot of people were complaining about they were not talking to people.
And apparently, like they almost lost the Marvel license like a few months ago too, but like there was some like last minute deal to keep the game running for like 5 more months, but that was about it. Like I looked at the Steam. What is it? Like the Steam ranking, and that game just took a nosedive this year. Like 300 people playing it, like most of the time, and that was it.
Well, you think people might have gone to the console?
No, because that wasn't a great version. I think that they just once people get through the content once, that's it. Like there's no new content.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's not like a Diablo where like there's new. I mean, Diablo is kind of the same way, but like at least Diablo rearranges it differently. Where it's like, okay, well, now we have rifts, or now we have like different like side jobs or bounties and stuff.
Or a new season, or whatever. Like this was just there so you could keep unlocking characters, right?
Yeah, like I basically would unlock if I bought a character, I would play it in like Midtown Manhattan, like the big area where bosses would show up like randomly till I was level 30, and then I would start the story at level 30 and would like instantly level up to 60 in like an hour or two.
Well, I mean, at least you didn't have to take too long to level up a new character, but yeah, I could see that kind of getting boring after a while.
Yeah. And I'll miss the game because I thought it was a decent enough Diablo clone, but it's not.
You think they might make another one, or maybe this opens the door for an Ultimate Alliance 3 or something? Or
well, Activision made that. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think if they made like another Ultimate Alliance, it'd just be like an MCU thing. and that just wouldn't interest me that much.
Again, that was the whole big draw of those games, was that you kind of really never knew who could show up and who you could wind up controlling, and then if you pretty much know from the get-go it's only people that are in the MCU, well, all right, we know who. I mean, it's still kind of cool to have, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not down, I'm not downplaying the MCU, but I'm just like those Ultimate Alliance games are just a lot more creative. Like they had 50 characters, 40 characters in them, and you could a lot of different options to play as.
right. I mean, that's kind of the thing with the, like, if that game ever comes out, the Square Enix Avengers game.
Yeah, we'll
Know,
see.
we still don't know what that's all about. So
yeah, exactly.
It exists. That's pretty much it. Speaking of Square Enix, they had to debunk rumors because lots of rumors came about that they had killed Deus Ex, or Deus Ex. It's off. So they had to come out in a GameIndustry.biz article with Yosuke Matsuda, the freaking CEO of Square Enix too. This wasn't just anybody coming out saying that. Really, the problem is that Eidos Montreal is working on Tomb Raider, and they're the ones working on that Avengers game, whenever that is happening, and they don't have unlimited resources. Well, we know that's true. Also, if you wouldn't, make you're also like spending God knows how much money on that Final Fantasy VII remake that will take 5 years to make one episode. So yeah.
I mean, the big problem really is Mankind. Like the last Deus Ex game didn't sell that well, and it wasn't that critically revered. Like it did fine, but no one was particularly excited for it. So, I mean, Deus Ex isn't gone forever, but it will have a long break because it's the same thing happened with Deus Ex Invisible War. The first sequel to the original Deus Ex, it came out in 2003 and it sucked, and it wasn't until 2011 where the next Deus Ex came from. So,
well, they did say it was going on hiatus after the reception to the last one.
yeah.
And then, plus they had the whole controversy with the pre-order bonus bullcrap.
Yep.
Which did not help things at all. And then, Matsuda's basically coming out and saying that, look, we're working on other stuff. There's not a reason to have a Deus Ex game in development right now when we don't even know when it would come out. So I can kind of understand his point, but the fact that you've got people talking about it is not really good for your.
At least he's being relatively honest about the state of the franchise, the state of this game. I credit him for that at least.
Yeah, but we know that they make their money on Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and all that, and the rest of the stuff is just okay. It's part of our portfolio.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they can make off Just Cause and Deus Ex and Tomb Raider and all that stuff is kind of just icing on the cake, really. Even though they will still complain about Tomb Raider not meeting sales, but then you also have to close down Sleeping Dogs, which sucks.
Yep. So. But that studio wasn't doing much anyway, so they didn't rush out and make Sleeping Dogs 2. They made the stupid Triad Wars thing instead.
That was so dumb. Nobody asked for that. So why not make the second one?
Instead of getting a proper Legacy of Kain game, we got that arena shooter Nosgoth instead. That sucked hard.
That didn't make any sense either, but again, Square Enix not making a lot of sense sometimes these days. Something that perhaps would have made more sense to come out earlier, but I guess their whole reasoning was they wanted to make sure that all the DLC stories were out for all the other characters, which I guess kind of makes sense because you do play with them individually there, so you would know how to play with them this way because of that. But it seems like I don't know. It seems like something that you could have tested out without needing those. But either way, my point is that you can character swap now, starting in December, coming along with the episode Igneous update. You'll be able to not only just play as Noct, you can play as Gladio, Igneous, and Prompto in battle too. So that's kind of cool. I almost feel like I almost want to go back and see how they play differently with me actually controlling them.
I mean, did you play the DLCs?
No, that I also need to do that too.
I mean, they're just going to play like that, so... I imagine I only played the Gladio one, and that wasn't exactly fun, so I hope the other two play better.
Yeah, I would agree. There's also apparently some stuff from from the Kingsglaive movie that they cut out of it that's in the Prompto one. So that might be interesting story-wise, but I I just feel like this is kind of you waited too long.
I mean, yeah, but also that multiplayer expansion just hit, and people seem to be actually playing that, so...
But that's different. Like, you can create the character, and you can do stuff with anything that involves multiplayer, he will seem to latch onto at this point. So
like
I do think
Lawbreakers.
it's cool, unless you're Lawbreaker. I do think it's cool that they're offering it. Just wish that they would have done it before. I think the best part of this is that Arden is going to get his own story DLC as well. I kind of found him to be interesting. I liked his character in the game.
I liked the character, but it wasn't fleshed out at all.
Yeah, so that's the good thing about this is perhaps you will get his character fleshed out. When Tabata is saying it himself, which is what's so funny about this. Like, why didn't... I guess that's more of the production thing, right? Of why they couldn't?
They probably just ran out of time and money, and they said we had to put this game out now. Because, like, the Final Fantasy 15 story is, like, if you look at it as a story, it's bad.
Right.
Like, it's narratively, it's like, it's all over the map. So, like, them trying to put this Arden thing in, or, like, the Luna thing that you put in later, like, I mean, I guess, sure, but, I mean, yeah, it should have been there day one, but then the game wouldn't have come out until 2018, so...
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it came at the end of last year, and that's with them having the movie and the anime to let you know something about each of the characters. And then, the movie to let you know the history before they get to the game. And it does make it feel... You could probably feel that without watching all that stuff, which I know you didn't. But watching all that stuff makes it feel like more all over the place. Because it's like, okay, I'm having to watch 3 different things to get the story in this game. And then there's still things like when Luna shows up, you're like, the fuck? You don't see her at all during the story. And then she's just there. And then, whatever happens in that section happens. And you're just kind of like, wow. How was I supposed to feel for her again?
Yeah.
Like, you really do. I felt like Gladio the whole time. Like, you dope. Why the hell are you upset? Like, if you go by what we're seeing, there's no reason for you to be sad, right?
Yeah.
So, it's just dumb, but it's cool that they're still supporting this. There's going to be another DLC story too. They don't know who it's going to be about. The last one, but
it'll be about Cindy and making cars in the garage.
They have not said if it's gonna be part of your season pass or if they're gonna make another season pass or whatever. But it'd be nice if they didn't. but I also can't say that I can expect them to not charge for it, because they already completed what they said they would for the season pass originally. So I don't
If
know.
they
How
made
do you
it,
feel about that? I mean,
if they made it cheaper, or if they said like you already on the season pass, like season pass 1, so season pass 2 will be $15. Like that'd be fine. But I wouldn't.
yeah,
I wouldn't.
like I think 10 or 15 would be fair to get the 3
But I wouldn't
stories.
pay. I mean, I didn't pay for the season pass, but I wouldn't pay $30 for like the season pass 2.
No, I agree with you. I would not. I paid the 25 for the season pass as well, and I don't know that I would pay another 25. I think that's a little excessive. There's also a Final Fantasy 15 tomb in Assassin's Creed Origins that's blocked off, but perhaps you can unlock it later and you can get like Noctis' sword or something.
Yeah, someone discovered it by like going through a wall, and they were like, "Hey, there's an area here, and it's a bunch of Final Fantasy 15 shit in here. This is interesting."
Well, they did have all the Assassin's Creed stuff in Final Fantasy, so
Yeah, it's just basically cross marketing.
I guess that's cool to see, and it's not two Japanese developers, so that's also interesting. Wasn't it like they sat down at a table and talked about it and just say, well, what if we just did this? And they did.
That'd be cool.
I know both of us are excited for Valkyria Chronicles 4. Better than the sequel that they released last time. So,
Or the
yay.
PSP or the Vita one that didn't come out in America.
I thought they released that like as part of the thing on PC or
There's at
on
least one that's
something.
never. I don't think Valkyria Chronicles 3 ever made it to America.
Oh no, 3's never made it here. No, it was
Two has come to
2?
PSP. I know that for sure.
Okay. What was the thing that they released? So they remastered it on PC, and then they released that like Muso game last year.
And they like did something else with it with Valkyria Chronicles this year. Like there was like another game.
Well, they remastered it for PS4 as well.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Which that was on the sale for like $13.50 or something like that. Which is not too bad.
Yeah.
So this is coming to PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. I'm assuming it would come to PC as well. So that's actually pretty cool, even coming to Switch. And it's 90% done. And, it's going to follow the same gameplay as the other games. So that's good to know they're not changing too much. But just kind of happy that you're getting a full number sequel in the series.
I was kind of surprised with the 90% done thing. Like they announced it, and I was like, "Oh, it'll be a few years," but it sounds pretty close to done.
I feel like they kind of knew that they were doing this. Like they released that other game last year to kind of hold people over.
Yeah.
And then knowing that they would release this sometime in 2018, so not a bad decision.
Yeah.
On their board. Hopefully Sega does not mess this one up. And we pretty much knew this was happening, but I mean they're not going to just have this come out in Japan at this point. With everything Shin Megami Tensei does well here, so it would be kind of dumb not to release it here. So they've officially now announced that it's coming to Europe and America and all that stuff. So
yeah.
that's good. I know we're not as familiar with those as the Persona games, but still interesting that they chose to switch for that too.
Well, I mean, like Shin Megami Tensei 4 has been coming to the DS or the 3DS, so why not?
And the first couple ones were on the Famicom. So I guess they've always had that deal with Nintendo, but just interesting that they made a big deal about it for Switch, that being one of their like tentpole titles. They're making a Neverwinter Nights Enhanced edition.
Yep.
So this was the big thing that Beamdog was working on, even though I have seen something about they're apparently doing another Planescape, or...
Yeah, they've been talking about trying to do another Planescape. I don't know how well that would do. Because they're not developers. They're like, they help fix games, or they help bring them into like modern graphics standards. They don't develop games.
Did you ever play the Neverwinter
I
Nights?
I tried once or twice. I didn't get into it at all. But at the time, like that was a very demanding game on PCs. So I think that was like one reason why, because it ran like shit most of the time on the computers I had.
Well, that's one way that it will not get played, is runs like crap on your computer.
But like that was a very successful game because like I think BioWare made it. And that was like their first big hit, I think.
Yeah, the Xbox One version was like an exclusive for a while too. So.
That's the MMO.
Oh, okay, the MMO.
Neverwinter Nights was a D&D largely single player game, but you could do multiplayer if you wanted.
So is it kind of like Diablo, or?
Yeah, but it's more RPG based, like those dice rolls and stuff.
Oh,
like,
okay.
For attacks and stuff. So
That the whole dice rolling thing beyond me at that point, but still sounds like, yeah, I could see a lot of people getting into that for sure, especially back when it came out. Now we get into the part that I feel like I wish wasn't really happening part of the show, which is the let's talk about loot boxes for about 5 stories in a row. Okay, we know the deal with Battlefront 2 and all the crap that happened with that. We talked enough about that. But the problem with Battlefront 2's all the stuff that they cause with their uproar from the gamers and everything has caused Hawaii and other states, not just Belgium, not just the Netherlands, not just other European countries, now the own United States is getting involved in the whole let's stop spreading predatory practices in online gaming and calling Star Wars Battlefront 2 a casino. Jeez.
I mean, and to an extent it is, but like every game has a aspect of chance. Like,
right, but we have to admit that this year has been like insane with like how many games come out in a row with there's loot boxes.
no, I think look at like something like Overwatch. Like the Overwatch loot boxes are cosmetic,
Right.
or like even like something like Team Fortress 2. I mean that's old, but that was like the first game I remember having loot boxes in it, and they were somewhat integral to like the game. Like they had new weapons in them, but it wasn't the only thing. Like you could still grind out that shit if you really wanted to. Like the thing with the EA's loot boxes with Battlefront 2 and Need for Speed is that is how you play the game. Like you can't get around it. Like that is the only way you can progress, and that's what sucks. And if you don't get what you want when you open that box, you have to grind it another one. It's like great, thanks again.
But I mean, couldn't you make the case also that you're not what you're paying for is to not have to waste so much time and not necessarily to get something? So,
I mean, I would, but EA has a philosophy of like, oh, it's a value, or that was their dumbass reasoning for the first eruption of anti-sentiment. It's like,
and that's what's stupid too, is the way that you get progression in the game, especially in multiplayer. It's not how many times you killed someone, it's by the amount of time that you've played.
Yeah.
So that's also an issue.
I mean, EA has like seriously damaged their brand and Star Wars and Need for Speed and maybe even FIFA, and that's their own fault.
Yeah, because for Need for Speed, the whole progression system is tied to the boxes again.
You can't even, like, if you want any specific part, you can't even buy it. Because the thing in Need for Speed is, like, you swap out parts for your car. Like, if you want a new turbo, you have to buy one. But you can't go into a store and just buy a turbo. It's tied to a card, a random card.
That's so dumb. Like, if you walk into a store to do anything for your car, right, you buy what you need for the car.
Yeah.
Like, there are just some things you don't need to randomize.
Well, there was another funny thing I saw about EA today about, like, I don't know if it's today. I think it might have been today about, like, them going, like, oh, the single-player experience, no one really wants that anymore. And it's like, then why'd you put it in Battlefront 2? Why'd you put it in Titanfall 2?
Why do you put it in all your sports games?
Yeah, why'd you put it in Madden? Like, you never had one before.
You made the point of selling your Madden game this year based on basically the long shot mode. And you're going to say that you don't care about single player anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit their, like, last few single player games, like Mirror's Edge, Catalyst, didn't do well. But it's not because they were single player. It's because no one cared.
Yeah, you released them and did not put your full weight behind them either. It's just, I mean, and this is not the same thing. You just mentioned FIFA. They have a problem with the RNG of the card packs of Ultimate Team, which...
Here's the thing. The Ultimate Team thing is dumb to me. But I can see the appeal for a fan. Like, if you like, I don't know, Manchester United, and you want to own that team's card, like all their cards, that's one thing. But it's also, like, it's not tied to gameplay. Like, it's not like, oh, I unlocked Manchester United, so now all the players are 50% better. It's like, if that was the case, fuck that game.
Well, you play with that team that you
but it's not
construct.
But it's not integral. Like, you can still play a versus match of pre-made teams. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right, or you can just not play Ultimate Team and still play Manchester United.
Yeah.
You know.
That's like the only soccer team I know. Sorry.
It's okay. It's my English soccer team, so it's fine.
But like that the Ultimate Team is basically akin to, like, a cosmetic item in, like, Overwatch to me. But I saw, like, the thing about today. I think I saw something like they wanted to put, like, an Ultimate Team in, like, Star Wars, and it's like, how do you do that?
But the problem is, though, too, with Ultimate Team, is how much money they make off Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
And how much of that are you making because of these bad drop rates, right? Because people are just continually buying. Hopefully they get whatever card they need or they want or whatever. You know,
or they just hack other players' accounts and get money that way.
That too, the phishing scams or whatever. But it's just like, if you made those better, that would obviously make it to where you probably don't make as much money, right? Because they would get the card that they want faster.
Yeah.
It works against them.
I mean, I don't play any of those games, but I don't think you can buy, like, a specific card, can you?
No. It's all random.
Yeah, I didn't think so, yeah.
No, and that's the thing. We're talking about all random stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So, and this is the way that EA has chosen this year to make money, because they said, okay, we're not going to charge you for the season pass. Or for Battlefront. Which, okay, great. But I think there's going to be a catch.
I think people would rather have a season pass than this, loot card bullshit.
Oh, I bet you they would now. They'd be like, oh, please let us pay $40 for that season pass. So
but also, I always think back to what they did with Plants vs. Zombies 2. Like, that was a free-to-play game, but you had to, pay money continuously into it to get, new plants and stuff. And they never released a version on PC. that was, a $20 or $30 game because it would kill the free-to-play version.
Didn't they take that stuff out, though, eventually?
No,
Microtransactions?
it's still in there.
I thought that was for 2, right, that they took it out? Or
That was for
one of them
maybe.
they took it out.
Might have been 1, because 2 is still free-to-play. Like, that's how they make the money on it. They may have, like, lessened the ramp a little, but it's still in there.
Do you believe that story about the guy that was sort of in... Well, they had to come out and say that he wasn't...
The creator of Plants vs. Zombies at PopCap, they fired him because he objected to the free-to-play stuff.
Well, he was... Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, the guy that's involved with making, one of your favorite games, he went on a radio show and talked about the whole... He sort of almost made it seem like that way. And then the guy had to come out and say, no, I was let go as part of letting a bunch of people from PopCap go. And then, the whole deal started about, well, is it in between both these things where he did have a problem with the pay to win, but he was let go because of the other stuff.
I mean, it probably is a blend of the two, but I mean, PopCap released Plants vs. Zombies 2 only on free to play. They didn't release it on any actual platform, and that should tell you all there is right there.
God. I still remember that E3 where it's like they made a big deal with that game and no one cared.
And then they released those 2 shitty DICE garden Plants vs. Zombies garden shooters.
The Garden Warfare?
Yeah. It's like, this is a good use of everyone's time.
Thank you for spending literally a third of your press conference telling us about this and why.
I mean, I think the inherent problem of loot boxes is more tied to, I mean, they're bad, but it's more tied to gaming philosophy in general. Like, you can't just run a dungeon in WoW and get every piece of gear you want. There's always an element of randomness, and there's always repetition. And I think that's just inherent to the activity, honestly. Like, if I could roll into a WoW dungeon and get everything I wanted, I'd play WoW for a month and never play it again ever.
No, you're not wrong, right? If
you could unlock Darth Vader in an hour instead of their 40-hour mandate, what they want you to run it at, then you'd never play Battlefront 2 again ever either.
Right, but they also decided to make the way that they were going to make money primarily was off this. So it behooved them to make this progression system as slow as possible so that you would pay because you get tired of doing all that.
Well, way to go, EA. And there are other argument against it. What yesterday was like, oh, well, we didn't put cosmetics in Battlefront 2 because it violates canon.
Well, no, Lucasfilm didn't let them, apparently, because Lucasfilm had to make sure that you didn't have Darth Maul and Darth Vader in the same thing.
EA's argument was like we couldn't have a pink Darth Vader running around. It's like, really? Where in the canon does Connect Star Wars fit in?
I could see Disney saying no to that.
I could see it for sure. I actually
remember they were
them,
huge
but
on Disney Infinity. They couldn't cross over, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, I actually believe them on that front. But also, them trying to buy. It's not our fault. We have the shitty unlock system. It's Disney's fault. It's like, no, it's still your fault because you still have the shitty unlock system. You can't blame Disney for it. They okayed it for sure, but you still came up with it, and it's still who came up with the Need for Speed then? The car manufacturers? No, you did.
That's true.
It's like, no, you idiots. So yeah, oh well to EA. Like, you guys dug the hole, so you gotta live with it now.
Yep. You got a game that probably a lot of people are going to wind up taking back to
Oh,
GameStop, and
there were some great like Black Friday pictures going around about like game displays emptied out except for Battlefront 2.
well, they kind of expect that, I think.
I mean, the thing I'm getting really curious about now is like Anthem. Like, if that does well, if it doesn't do well, like how unruly will their unlock system be, or will it have cards, or like what will they do to fuck it up?
Yeah, it depends on how it is, right? Because it seems like with Destiny 2, they streamlined everything to the point where, drops are coming in better and everything else. People just don't like the fact that they're not being transparent right now, which, because
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
they also like fucked with the XP system. It's like, that's not good.
Yeah, you're making people play the game longer on purpose, and that's what's dumb is their whole message for number 2 has been, we don't want this to be like an MMO where you're feeling like you have to play this constantly.
Yeah.
And then you're doing that, where you're making them feel like, okay, well, I had to play more than I would have wanted because I'm now not getting the XP I would have got from doing these missions or whatever. And I understand that, like, you want them to do the harder stuff and not just keep doing the easier stuff over and over and over, but there's a better way to do that than throttling the
XP
XP.
gain. Yeah.
That was part of the reason they made a whole big blog post. So people that play Destiny 2, you can go read that and see what they're bringing in. It seems like they're doing a lot of stuff. So, and not to mention the first expansion or DLC or whatever comes out this week.
I think that got delayed.
Did it officially?
Yeah, because
it's still listed as December 5th. So.
Yeah, but I think it did get delayed because they had to fix everything first.
Oh, okay. Probably like a couple weeks or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, so that's just. Do you think that this is going to wind up being a thing where the Hawaii actually passes something and some of these other states actually pass something? Where their whole deal is saying that this is, especially Battlefront, which is T for teen, right? It's going after kids. Or it's going after 13 and plus year olds. And, there's kids younger than 13 playing this. And they're saying it's a predatory practice and all that stuff. Do you think that the ESA, which has already said that they don't think loot boxes are gambling, do you think that they eventually say, well, we got to do something, or?
Well, the ESA is created by like EA and Activision and all those other guys. Like, of course they'd say that. I think the government will try to, in some respects, but I mean, the upper echelons of government, they are a little more pro-business than they were before, so I don't think they'd care. Like, they don't particularly want more regulation with anything, so.
I don't know, but when you get people on a high horse about something, usually they get something done, especially with the government that we have right now. So I would just worry about that, because if you have enough states that decide that, okay, we're going to put this into practice, you're not going to be able to sell a game that has these type of loot boxes or this type of progressive system or whatever. This might affect the way that we do this, where we have, what do they do with microtransactions next?
Yeah.
And I do wonder if we get to that point of they just say, okay, look, we're going to have to raise these prices to $70 because they're really hampering the way that we can make money in these games.
I think if EA tried that, they would have such immediate backlash that no one would buy that game.
Well, for one, it wouldn't be EA. I think it would have to be everybody coming together and saying, okay, games are now $70.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think everyone would come together. Like, I think EA would, and maybe Activision, and that's about it. I don't think Ubisoft would, and I don't think, like, Take-Two would.
Yeah, they wouldn't. I mean, not to mention they have a great way of getting money out of you with the GTA Online and the subsequent Red Dead Online and all that stuff. So,
Like, Take-Two might with, like, GTA or Red Dead 2. Like, they might try it, but they wouldn't do it. I think Activision could try it with, like, the next Call of Duty, but that franchise has already kind of been battered. Like, it's not what it once was, let's say that.
I do
And,
wonder though if you said, okay, if you pay $10 more for a game, we will not have any of this microtransactions, and we'll give you half of the stuff that you would have paid for a season pass for free, and say maybe if you want the rest of it, you can pay $20 for a season pass or something.
I mean, that's essentially what, like, the deluxe versions of games already are. Like, Ubisoft already does that with, like, Assassin's Creed or like Watch Dogs. I mean,
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like if you're already kind of getting used to paying these higher prices for these special things, like, would it really be that bad if the game wound up being $70 and you know
I mean,
maybe you didn't have to pay for some of that stuff? I mean,
it all depends on what it omitted and what it added, and if the game would even merited a $60 purchase. Like, I mean, World War II was $60, and I wouldn't have paid that for it.
right? Yeah.
Maybe we would have gave like 30 for it.
Yeah,
But
obviously that's true as well. Like for me, when I had to make the decision with Xenoblade, there's already an expansion pass, which Nintendo already came out and said what's going to be in it. And I said, well, I'm not saving any money. It's still $30 either way. I'll just wait and see if the stuff that's in the expansion is worth the money, and I'm just going to pay my $60. But
yeah,
if they told me that, okay, we're going to come out with the game at $75, and it will include the expansion pass for free, that's actually worth it. So
yeah, but Nintendo wouldn't do that. So,
right, they wouldn't. But I'm just saying, like, I
and
feel
also,
like.
I
Go
mean,
ahead.
you haven't played that game yet. So, I mean, you like the first one, but the second one, like, you never know. The second one might be garbage. I mean,
It could be.
it's unlikely, but you just never know.
Right, you're completely right. It could be absolute garbage. And then the thing that I could see too is that you have to think about it too. In retail, how quickly do we see these games start going on sale, or even before then? Like, how long is it? It doesn't take but like a month before you start seeing a digital sale on PS4 or Xbox One where that game is $20 less, $30 less.
I mean, that's you say that, but that's a pretty that only really happened with EA's games this year because they all kind of bombed out. Like, that very kind of rarely happens, except for like a special event like a Black Friday. But that's one event for the year. That's not every month.
Well, not every month, but like I don't know. I feel like very quickly after a lot of these $60 games come out, they'll have a sale 1 week out of the month that'll make it go down to 40 or
I mean,
45.
honestly, physical games do that a lot more because they have to clear out space.
Right, yeah.
Or like Amazon will do it.
Yeah, because Amazon doesn't care. But there's got to be a way to fix this without getting the federal government involved. Right now, you just don't want all these states getting involved in doing this, because what stops them from getting involved in other things in gaming too? It's just, not to mention by the fact that you're doing this with console games, you're really hurting the mobile market, which obviously the console games don't care about whether they're hurting the mobile market or not. But
they'll just stop selling games in Hawaii. That's how they deal with it.
Yep.
Come to the mainland if you want to play Call of Duty.
Right. So I remember them saying something about Demon Souls Online was going to end like months ago, and they've officially announced now that Demon Souls, the first in the Souls games,
Yep.
February 28, 2018, the online portion of the game is going to end.
Yeah. It's been around for like eight or 9 years, so it's had a
Yeah.
good run.
Plus, it's not an online-only game, so you could play the single player just fine.
Yeah.
Without that.
That game will be impacted by the servers going offline, but you won't be able to play it at all.
Yeah, exactly. You can buy plots of land on Star Citizen now for $50 of real
And
money.
you still can't play the game.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, if you want your plot of land, which they promised there's zillions of plots of land,
Oh, of course.
pay your $50, people. Which will probably not go to fixing anything in Star Citizen, but go.
Yeah.
You do that. Would you buy a plot of land in Star Citizen?
I wouldn't buy Star Citizen.
I feel like we talked about that game for like
Yeah, it's
I don't
a
know how many
Ponzi.
shows straight at one point when it was still in the Kickstarter thing.
I mean, it's a
And,
Ponzi scheme. Like clear,
yeah,
like people who don't realize it are idiots.
I don't know how they didn't catch on to that eventually. But I guess that's how all Ponzi schemes work. You don't realize that you're doing a Ponzi scheme until the
Yeah.
government comes in and goes, "Okay, you're getting arrested." Like, oh, what? Crap. And one last bit of good news because I really enjoyed this game and it deserves all of the praise it's getting for the Game of the Year stuff and winning categories and whatnot. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice has sold 500,000 copies. The studio made a profit. Of course, this is Ninja Theory making this game, and it's sort of like a triple A indie. And they've gotten $13 million in revenue from the game in 3 months. And they were able to donate a lot of that to charity as well for the mental condition that the game deals with. So that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Are you interested in playing the game at all, or?
I'd be if I had it. I'd try to play it. I know it's a short game, so that would
Right,
help.
yeah. And of course, net neutrality is in the news again
Well, got
because
canceled today. Yeah.
Oh God, you ready
And then
for your internet to get throttled and
yeah, and then
everything?
Comcast immediately took down their like net neutrality pledge. It's like, yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, because you're gonna find a way to start charging us more money. You charge us unlimited data, $50.
Yeah.
What are you gonna add on to this? It's almost gonna be impossible to have internet at some points now. This is
I mean,
ridiculous.
the only thing I look forward to is in 3 years it gets rolled back again.
Yep. I just hope that they don't try to put in some protection where they can't roll it back. That's the only thing that I worry about. But
I think they could try, but like in 2020, when someone else is in office, it's getting rolled back.
yeah, I just can't imagine Trump getting elected again. It's not the way things are going now. But you know, stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
DC is making a new Harley Quinn animated show.
Great.
Are you wanting to see that? I know it's on DC streaming service, so
No, I'm fine.
you're like, yep, I'm good. Not watching that. The whole story about Disney taking over Fox's properties again has appeared. And this one seems to be a little bit more serious because they bring up the whole, well, when they bought Marvel and Lucasfilm, nobody really knew about it, which is true. That seemed to just come out of complete nowhere. And James Cameron even talked about how it actually would make more sense for Disney to have it at this point because they have the Avatar thing at the Disneyland or World or whichever one it is.
Yeah.
So he makes a good point. I feel like this is almost inevitable at this point.
Maybe. I mean, until the contract is fully announced, it's just speculation and hope. So.
I do worry about like the TV shows, like if Disney would wind up canceling some of them because, I mean, would they really run it all the way? Yeah, I guess Fox would still need to have content because they'd still owe the TV network. So
yeah, Gotham would still be on. Let's say that.
well, yeah, I think they would definitely not want to kill something that makes money for them, but I don't know. We've seen them do crazier things. So they keep shutting down these Star Wars games. So, they could do worse.
Yeah.
At this point. So I'm just gonna. There's like really no games coming out. Hey, Bethesda Pinball. Are you?
Woo!
I know you like pinball games, so.
Yeah, but not pinball effects games.
And that Steep Olympics edition is what we've all been waiting for.
Oh yeah, I forgot Steep came out.
Weren't you excited? You wanted to play that game for a while.
Yeah, like the demo, the preview was cool, but like that game came out and no one cared, and it was it had no personality whatsoever.
I remember seeing it at E3 and I'm like, nobody asked for this. Like, who asked for a winter sports game?
Yeah.
No one. Just weird. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, of course, the big game that comes out on Friday. I'm super excited for it. Street Fighter 2, the 30th anniversary, the one with the red cart.
Yeah, that'll catch fire.
Yeah, that'll catch fire, and then Doom VR for the PCs also comes out on Friday. Okay, so let's run through this, because this is already long. I didn't realize how long we'd already talked about this. Okay, so the Game Awards here, which, let me make sure that I was correct about the day. It is December 7th, correct? Yeah, December 7th. It's on a Thursday. You can watch it on like so many different places, just not on TV. So don't look for it there. It's not on Spike TV anymore. If you're still,
which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. These now they do have fan categories, but these are voted on by basically a conglomerate of journalists in the gaming industry. So these are why these nominees are here. It's not like Jeff Keighley just nominates a bunch of things himself. Just some people don't understand the rules. I heard people asking this constantly. So we'll do Game of the Year last. I'm not going to do all these because,
Yeah, not all of them are
forever.
needed.
But Best Story. What Remains of Edith Finch, Nier, Automata, Hellblade, Wolfenstein 2, and Horizon Zero Dawn.
I'd go Nier.
I have not played Nier. I've heard a lot of great things about Nier. I really enjoyed Hellblade's story. I have not played Wolfenstein 2 story enough on my end to say, but I've watched videos of what goes on after where I'm at, and it looks really interesting. I would vote for Wolfenstein 2, but I feel like Horizon's going to wind up winning this.
I don't know. The later parts of Horizon story are kind of bad.
I wouldn't be surprised that you're right on that, but I also think like there's only so many categories that like Hellblade could win something, so they may give Hellblade a shot here too. So I'll settle on Horizon probably winning.
Oh, I'm trying to find the quote. There's a great quote from Brad Shoemaker from Giant Bomb. It was a few days ago. The tweet was, Nier Automata is like, what if Kojima was good?
Oh, God. Wow.
which is
Jeez.
entirely accurate.
I know a lot of people did not like the Metal Gear Solid 5 story, but it doesn't discount the other stories in the other games. Gee.
Suffice it
Yeah.
to say, Dan didn't like that comment too much.
No, I'm sure he didn't. So, the best art direction, Destiny 2, Cuphead, Legend of Zelda, Persona 5, and Horizon. I feel like
I mean,
Cuphead is going to win anything that involves art.
I would say Persona 5, but I know that's such a fanboy, but yeah, by Cuphead. That or maybe Zelda. Like, Zelda did have good art direction, but...
I'd love for Persona 5 to win, but I also really think that the studio MDHR guys deserve a lot of credit for the dedication that they gave to that game, and the way it looks is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, even though I think Persona 5 is incredibly stylish, and like you can put that game on, and I think you could blow people away with the way it looks, and even the menus are cool. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Cuphead's gonna wind up winning. Best audio design: Destiny 2, Hellblade, Resident Evil 7, Legend of Zelda, and Super Mario Odyssey.
I don't care. I guess Mario.
I feel like this is when Hellblade should win because you have all the voices going on in your head, the other stuff that goes on around you. Like, if there's anything that Hellblade should win for something is audio design. Just watch some of those making ofs that they do for that game, and you'll go, oh wow, they really put a lot uh, into that
Sure.
just to make that work. Some of these awards are
Yeah.
really like, why are we doing these? Best action game: Prey, Neo, Destiny 2, Cuphead, and Wolfenstein 2.
Of that list, I haven't played it, but I'd probably say Wolfenstein.
I will say Wolfenstein will probably win,
But,
or
like,
Destiny 2.
see, some of these categories are kind of weird, because I would actually put, like, Nier Automata in that list of
Right, yeah,
action.
exactly.
And, like, they put it for best RPG. And it's like, yes, it has RPG mechanics, but, like, so does Assassin's Creed Origin. And, like, those mechanics are even more stringent. And it's not there at all, so... What the fuck?
You know, I feel like they were just trying to make sure that there was categories that all these games could won. And for one, why do you have action and action adventure as well? That I don't understand. Then you don't have adventure by itself. So
Yeah. Well, I think like action adventure is slightly more character driven than like just like straight action. But like Prey is kind of an adventure game, but it's also kind of a horror game. I mean,
yeah,
same,
that too.
know.
I'll say that Wolfenstein winds up winning this, but I'd say watch out, Cuphead could also take this too. Best action adventure game: Uncharted Lost Legacy, Assassin's Creed Origins, Zelda, Mario, and Horizon.
Probably Zelda. Like I might say Horizon, but I haven't played Zelda or Mario, so and I know it's not going to be Uncharted or Assassin's Creed.
The reason I will say Mario is because I feel like Zelda will be the one that wins the Game of the Year. So they may not want to do multiple categories just to let each one of these games win one. So I'll say Mario gets this. Even though all 5 of these could, I think Uncharted is kind of on the lower end,
Yeah.
but all 4 of the other ones could win.
I might say the same thing about Assassins, but yeah, like Uncharted and that one is kind of a huh. But
Yeah. Best RPG: South Park, The Fractured Butthole, Divinity: Original Sin 2, Nier, Persona 5, and Final Fantasy 15 because um their categories, and they have to pick the categories by I think like early November.
yeah, so they didn't make the cutoff last year.
So
I'd say Persona 5, but like
Persona 5 should win.
the only other competition would be Divinity. Like I said, Nier on this specific topic is just kind of like weird.
I mean, you're talking about 3 great games and then 2
Yeah,
very good ones. Yeah, I feel like it's really between Persona and Divinity, but I wouldn't be surprised if Nier might get something because, on the other list it's a bigger long shot. I'm gonna say Persona just because I hope they win this category.
I would say Persona because not a lot of reviewers play PC RPGs anymore. Like Divinity is probably a better like overall game than like
Isn't
Persona 5.
Divinity
Like
like I think 2 or 3 on the like most highest rating for this year?
yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a very complex game that is like hard to get into,
right.
and like it's like Persona 5 is generally speaking an easy game, or it's approachable. Let's say that Divinity is not.
Yeah, we also got to remember that this is sort of like the Emmys, or it's supposed to try to be the awards for the casual person.
Yeah,
So they're probably going to go with the games that people might actually, know more about or have played. So you're right in that instance that Persona would probably win in that case. Uh, Best fighting game: Tekken 7, Nidhogg 2. That's cool that that's on there. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Arms, and Injustice 2. If Injustice 2 does not win this, something went wrong. Just because from a casual perspective, I think that makes the most sense. It was also one of the best fighting games of the entire year. And 3 of these aren't on that level, and yeah, Tekken 7 is more Tekken, even though it's great, it's still more Tekken.
I mean, yeah, I would say Injustice, but Tekken 7 might be a dark horse
Yeah,
just because it's been a long time since a Tekken game's been around.
that's true.
That's actually been good.
Yeah.
And like Nidhogg 2 is fine, but I wouldn't like not for this list.
No.
Once they introduce online play, then we can talk about it. But
Plus, and Arms, I think was too out there.
fucked up.
Yeah. Best strategy game, which I feel like just includes all the strategy games that came out. XCOM 2 War of the Chosen, Tooth and Tail, which I have not played at all. Total War Warhammer 2, Halo Wars 2, and Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I will tell you
Yeah,
that I enjoyed Mario and Rabbids a heck of a lot more than Halo Wars 2. So
it'll be Mario XCOM. It's not going to be the other four. Not at all.
I would agree. Yeah, a lot of people really like Total War though.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, I hope Mario and Rabbids wins, but wouldn't be surprised if XCOM's the one that takes it. We don't.
Well, you don't care about sports games?
No, I do, but not really. Best multiplayer: Fortnite, Call of Duty, World War II, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8, Destiny 2, and PUBG.
PUBG. No
Yeah,
question.
I think PUBG should win from all the hoopla that it's gotten this year, deservedly so. And yeah, the fact that it's on, yeah.
If Fortnite somehow wins, a guy like player unknown will shank anyone at
Yeah,
Epic Games.
you know it. Mario Kart 8 really shouldn't win. I could see Destiny 2 also possibly making a run here.
No, this is PUBG's category for sure.
So what is your most anticipated game of And these are pretty. It's just one of the bigger ones. Last of Us 2. Last of Us Part 2 is not coming out next year. Stop it. Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Marvel Spider-Man, and God of War.
Of these five, I would say Spider-Man, but I don't think it's coming out next year. Like, my actual game would probably be Dragon Ball.
So both of these have the 2018, right? They don't have the early 2018?
Right.
The God
it just
of
says
War
2000.
and Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I would say Red Dead Redemption out of the two that we know are coming out next year for sure.
I think God of War will hit next year, but I don't know about these other two.
I am excited for God of War.
It would be nice if Spider-Man hit, but I don't know if it will. But like I said, my actual game would be like Dragon Ball FighterZ, just next month.
I don't even know. I'd have to look at everything, but I am excited for a lot of these games here. Best indie game, which I think is actually one of the better categories in this entire thing. Pyre, Night in the Woods, Cuphead, What Remains of Edith Finch, and Hellblade. I've played 3 of these. I'd love for Pyre to win, but probably won't. I think Cuphead's going to win this.
I'd probably Cuphead or Hellblade. Like, Pyre's neat, but it's still not as good as Bastion.
No, it's not. It's still really good. I love the basketball game that you play.
Yeah, I know some people like. I think I saw some like Patrick Klepek say like he still didn't understand how to play the game.
I was like it's basketball.
I think he said he reinstalled the Pyre just to like listen to the story or like experience the story, but the actual game part he just wasn't interested in, which is kind of valid. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it myself. Like I got okay at it, but it's not like a great playing sports game to me personally.
Fair enough. Best esports game, because I do not care about the trending gamers, so I'm sorry if you don't like what I just said. But
we all know it's going to be that guy from Dodgeball.
the guy Beam.
Yeah, the Ben Stiller ripoff.
Yeah, he looks the funniest just watching it. I know kind of funny is like sponsoring Andrew Renee though, so.
I'll say her just because I'm friends with her husband on Twitter or on Facebook.
Yeah. Rocket League, League of Legends, Dota, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, and Overwatch. Overwatch is going to win.
Yeah.
People are still talking about it a year later. I do not care about all this.
Trending game or the esports gamer.
I do want to give it a little credit because I've played 3 of these games. Best debut indie game. Please, for God's sakes, don't have the shit guy come out again. Like, for God's sakes. Mr. Shifty is an awesome game that I don't think people gave enough credit this year. Golf Story is also very, just from the fact that it's not just about golf, but also has a lot about golf in it, and Cuphead, of course. Slime Rancher is also decent enough. I've never played Hollow Knight, so I can't speak on it, but
yeah, probably Cuphead.
Cuphead's gonna win, but I'd love to see Mr. Shifty or Golf Story win. Why the hell do we have a category for the best Chinese game?
Because they're probably co-sponsoring this thing, like Tencent.
God. Okay, so Game of the Year, which I think is the only category that we have not done yet, is, well, hold on. Yeah, I don't have a VR thing to be able to talk
neither
about.
do I,
so. To be able to say anything on that at all. So it's Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Odyssey, PUBG, Persona 5, and Horizon Zero Dawn. I don't have a problem with any 5 of those. Zelda is probably going to win.
Yeah, I mean, my pick would be Persona 5, obviously, but I think actually maybe Mario. And I say that because like Zelda was a very cool idea, but it had problems with the inventory.
Right. I think though because Zelda wound up being the let's take Zelda and do something different with it. We'll probably win just based on that. Whereas Mario is just great.
Yeah, I mean, it's another platformer. I mean,
right.
Honestly, I love Persona 5, but the other one would probably be Horizon. It's doing a lot of the same things as other games, but it's still a unique setting, and it has some unique mechanics to it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So far in the time that I've been, I love the setting and that whole the way that they set up the characters and everything. I'd love for Persona 5 to win, but I just don't think it will.
Such a long, yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna go for the more casual.
I mean, Persona 5 is a game I replayed twice, in rapid succession. The second it was over, I just hit New Game Plus and started again. So, I mean, that says something to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have done that. There's people that have played it more than two. So I never finished it just because it's a long game and I constantly have to be playing other things. But it's just I think certainly all those games and a lot of the games that we're probably going to wind up doing the top 25 again. But when we have the top 10, any of those could probably win Game of the Year. This has been a great year for games. This is going to be a hard thing for them to. I don't know how much real thought they put into this. As far as when they decide who's the winner is, I think they do put a lot of thought into making the nominees. But
I mean, honestly, the only it's also a dark candidate, but PUBG might actually if it comes out, it might actually win. That's the X
Well, I
factor.
think it's on here based just on whether it comes out or not. Even if it's in
early access.
In the early access.
Yeah.
Even if the game preview version does not hit Xbox One X or whatever.
Yeah.
It's still on here based off of that and based off of all the people playing it and enjoying it and everything else. So
it's ironic that an Arma-inspired game could be considered a Game of the Year contender.
Yes, it is, and the fact that Fortnite is basically living off the fact that the guy should have just shut up and never said anything either. But you make mistakes sometimes when you speak out. So again, make sure you enjoy the Game Awards on December 7th. We'll have a show before then, but all right.
I doubt it. That's next week. No, that's exactly next week from now.
I don't know if I've played enough of Xenoblade, that could take up the first 15 minutes, and if there's something else that happens before then, the way we're going with loot boxes, who knows? There could be 20 more stories about loot boxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Thank you for listening to the show. Sorry it went a little bit extra long. I try not to have us go over an hour and 35 minutes or so, but hey, we put a lot in here. So thank you for listening. If you enjoy what you heard, you can always hit that subscribe button, Video Games to the Max. And of course, if you want to hear everything that we do podcast wise, you can go to w2net.com or just along with Video Games to the Max, you can hit subscribe on the W2 Network everywhere that podcasts are available on your favorite service. We are there, and if we're not on your favorite service, let us know. You can hit Mark at Humanity Plague. I'm at W2M Sean. You can hit at the whole entire site and network at W2 Network. And yeah, make sure you check out 411 and Last Word on Life as well. And we will see you guys next time.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.